Hi, my name is Daniel Tanner, and I'm going to try to explain to you the difference about buying different kinds of curling irons and flat irons so that you'd be able to do your hair yourself. Now, flat irons, curling irons. Really no difference when you buy them. They both do the same thing, basically. Close the cuticle, make your hair shiny, changes the shape. But how do you know which one to buy? I have many clients ask me that, and I'll try and explain to you the basics of it. When you go to the store and you see two separate flat irons, and one says it gets to 500 degrees and the other one says it gets to 500 degrees, those aren't any, I'm just pulling those numbers out thin air, and one's $100 and the other one is $50, why should you buy the $100 one? Well, there's something called refresh rate. Whenever you use a flat iron or a curling iron for that matter, as you slide it through your hair, what happens is the heat is transferred into the hair, thus straightening it and closing the cuticle. Now that flat iron that was, say, 500 degrees has now gone down to 400 degrees. And so the next piece of hair that you take, you're going to slide it down your hair, and that 400 degree flat iron has just turned to 300 degrees. By the time you go to the third or fourth section, you're down to a 100 degree flat iron. That's going to take a few minutes to get back up to its original 500 degrees. That time it takes to get back to the original 500 degrees is what we call refresh rate. So commonly what I tell my clients is that most hairdressers get to about the same level of heat. It's just how fast do they do that. You might remember when you were curling your hair. Many people curl the first piece and let go of it within, say, 10 seconds, maybe 5. Then you grab the second section and you curl it, and you hold it for a little bit and you let go. But by the time you're on the fourth section, you have to hold the curling iron there and wait. You might not even notice you're doing it. But the amount of time that you're waiting is because your curling iron has not refreshed back to its original heat. So, when buying curling irons or flat irons at beauty supplies or whatever, refresh rate is the most common useful thing you can keep in mind. I understand they sell their products as being ceramic. Ionic is being thrown around quite a bit. And ceramic is fine. It's a non-stick surface, much like the saute pans that you use to cook eggs in, so that they can flip them. I mean, you don't want your hair to stick to the metal. But I really never have had that problem with even the older curling irons and the older flat irons. The hair rarely stuck to the implement I was working with, the curling iron or flat iron, either way. I can't remember a time in which that's happened. Maybe if you have a scratch, or you have a dent, or you have a manufacturer's defect, well then yeah, the hair will stick. But in general, I would look much more for a refresh rate. Something that goes back to its original heat in a matter of seconds, not minutes. And that will usually give you a much more professional look, and it'll make you much happier. Refresh rate is what I advise. So, how do you know which ones have the fastest refresh rates? I would generally say they're the most expensive ones. Generally the flat irons or curling irons that I purchase are anywhere between curling irons anywhere between $70 and $110, and the flat irons are anywhere between $100 and $150. The flat irons do tend to be a little more expensive, depending on how wide the surface is. Surface of flat irons are usually 1 inch, 2 inch, or 3 inch. If you have long hair, buy the 3 inch one. If you have short hair, buy the 1 inch one. In medium length, buy the 2 inch one. Some people will advertise that you can curl your hair with the smaller 1 inch one, and I have seen people do that. I personally think mainly you're folding the hair, but everybody has their technique. So, when purchasing flat irons, keep that in mind, the size of the plate, and also if you'd like to have a spring or a marcel. Marcels tend to float. They have no springs, no connections that connect the bars to close after they're opened, and they're really quite nice. For professionals, this is the choice. We use these because it doesn't hurt our wrists, carpal tunnel and so forth. There's another type that has a spring that you push down and it closes. For most home users, that would be an easier choice. I know very few people that can work with a marcel at home who aren't professionals, and buy the spring one. It's just much easier for you. If you want to try the marcel, that would be fine, of course, but at the prices, you might want to definitely get the spring one. So, I covered flat irons and curling irons and purchasing them. If you have any questions, please contact me. Ask me any questions. I am a hairdresser, and I'm interested in hearing your questions or comments, or if you like this video or not.